I found that this was very complex. When Nas first came out, I had no idea that he had dropped out of 10th grade. He was doing subject matter from topics as vast as the Illuminati and educating the youth to just regular things going on in his hood, like drug deals and things of that nature. So I found that Nas was pretty complex, in spite of the fact that he didn't even finish the 9th grade. Okay, this is the other part of One Love. Short his laugh was cold-blooded as he spoke so foul. Only 12 trying to tell me that he liked my style. Then froze only to blow herb smoke through my nose and told my little man I'm gonna go side pros. There's some jewels in the store that he could sell if he chose. Words of wisdom from Nas to try and rise above, keep an eye on shorty. What? One love. One love is actually a term used by Rastafarians to describe the love that you should have for your fellow man, just as you have for your God. They call him Jah, we call him Jehovah in Christianity. So he used that very term to describe you have love for your fellow man. And again, like I said, this was a story, an open letter to a friend in jail. And just the way he expressed it was very intense to me. Actually, this particular scene in One Love, a friend of Nas's who directed a lot of his videos, a man by the name, I can't remember his first name, last name is Williams, they call him Hype Williams. Hype Williams, who directed the movie Belly, allowed Nas to take this exact line from One Love and project it in a scene. It was a scene where a youth was pretty much a drug dealer, and at the time, Nas's character, he was playing a guy by the name of Sincere, was trying to get out of the drug gang. He was telling the young man to rise above everything negative that's going on around you. And in appreciation for him sitting there listening to him, he gave him this platinum chain from around his neck. And even though the youth might have been dead after that, he just wanted to speak his piece on it and let him know. He wishes himself he would have had somebody mature enough to state that to him when he was doing the same thing. But he finally had found within himself to get out of that type of lifestyle. Okay? Nas's next stage, I call it the Escobar stage. He had an album, he was still in Iconoclast. For example, he had an album called It Was Written, came out in 1996. Even though the album was called It Was Written, a majority of this album, Nas takes on a new persona. He calls himself Nas Escobar, after Pablo Escobar, who was a renowned drug dealer along with the United States government. Okay? And it's ironic. It was written, you think of the Bible, he's calling himself Nas Escobar, it's related to drugs. And once you see the material in the album, you'd be like, okay, yeah, he's very much so an iconoclast, but now he's in a different stage. He's talking most about drug dealers and gangbanging and things of that nature. At this time in his career, he put together a group called The Firm. Consisted of he, his friend Jungle, rapper known as Foxy Brown, female rapper from Brooklyn, and Dr. Dre from the West Coast. Now, Dr. Dre produced most of the music. At the time, there was a East Coast, West Coast rivalry going on. It was more facilitated by the media. However, Nas wanted to bring about an end to that, so he got Dr. Dre, who was one of his favorite producers at the time, to produce all the cuts on the album. One of his rivals at the time, the Notorious B.I.G., a friend but a rival, they would always try to outdo one another. One of the Notorious B.I.G.'s very good friends, Sean Carter, they would emulate one another's style. For example, talk about gangbanging, the mafioso lifestyle in their lyrics, and borrow back and forth. Nas was one of the first leaders of a rap group to have a female member rapping just as hard as the men in their lyrics, and that was Foxy Brown. Inga Marchand, that's her real name. Okay, Biggie did the same thing, or Christopher Wallace did the same thing with Kim Jones, Lil' Kim. So it was a little bit of friction there. It was nothing personal. All right. This is a line from The Firm, from a song called Black Girl Lost. Actually, it was written out. The lyrics are, where are you focused on legit brothers and where the coke is nice and thug life brothers? Yo, you seem so hopeless. Your value too much to be measured. I wonder how you could ever be played. Your vagina worth gold amount to more than the world, but not knowing nothing about you. You leaving the crib taking all your kids out to drop them off, let some brother knock you off. So hot and soft, that's the same thing that got you lost. You should be ashamed. That song's called Black Girl Lost. Pretty much it was a dedication to black women who he was seeing at the time that were not taking care of their responsibilities, allowing men to take advantage of them, and abandon their kids. I don't know if this was written to somebody new personally, but I know at the time he was having friction with the mother of his child, Carmen Bryant. At the time I didn't know that, but it's a very good song. Very, in spite of the album, it was written being mostly about drug dealing and gangbanging. This was one of the positive songs, I think, in the album. Just getting black women to open up their eyes and that they're really beautiful, in spite of what other people tell them. Background was sung by the R&B rapper Luow out of North Carolina. Okay, this line from the Firm, which was one of the first songs from the Firm on the It Was Written album. I think these words are actually uttered by Foxy Brown, by Ingram Rashawn. It says, we got the fleet of Panama, the weight is half and half, keys is 1 and 2/5 is how we flip, 32 grams raw chopped in half, get 16. So pretty much I'm just showing how she's breaking out mathematics of how to flip cocaine. At the time when she wrote this, a lot of people were questioning, a lot of other rappers were questioning her lyrics like, the math's not even correct on how to flip cocaine. I mean, basically stating that they were not legitimate hustlers, things of that nature. Okay, in the year 2002, there were a lot of cuts that went on the cutting room floor that Nas did. I don't know why. Record companies, they go through a lot of rigmarole with record companies. They don't want to release certain cuts and things of that nature. And that's what brought about his album, The Lost Tapes. Now, a lot of this might have sat around for a while, and some was new music. The ones that were interesting to me were Papa Was a Player. Nas hardly ever talks about his father, who was a jazz trumpeter named Oludara. Oludara played behind such greats as Ray Charles. I had no knowledge of Oludara until on the first album on Illmatic, he played trumpet on a song called Life's a Bitch, right? And that was the first time he had actually seen his father in a while. He really touches on his father a lot in the Lost Tapes. In one song called Papa Was a Player, he talks about how his father was very promiscuous, cheating on his mother, and in the following verse is pretty much a reenactment of one time when this occurred. What's that white stuff on that plate you're facing? Papa, why you butt A from the waist? Who's this lady I'm facing? Dark skin, you're not my mommy, right? So he walked in on his father doing cocaine with another lady and having sex with another lady. He knew it wasn't his mom, right? She looked nothing like him. Another one from the Lost Tapes I found was brilliant. That shows there was a lot of stress in his relationship between his mother and father was Fetus. He's telling the rhyme from the perspective of a fetus in his mother's egg sac. It says, but I was saved. God changed his mind the last minute. Watching him yell, heard my mom's voice well. Feared this fight, so terrified when we fell. While they broke up furniture and smashed plates on the wall. So his mother and father were getting violent with one another while he was in the womb. Okay? Nas's third and final progression in this particular paper was to Godson. Like I said, he was nasty Nas in the beginning, just expressing his environment. Second verse, he was pretty much Big Willie, I would say, Nas Escobar. Now he's Godson. He put a trust in God more. He started writing rhymes about how his mother was a Christian, his father was believed in Islam. But he took both religions to express positive things in his life. His name Nas actually derived from, I think in Islam, Nasir was like Adam is to Christianity. That's where he got his name from, the chosen one. I say survivor because at the time a lot of his friends in the music business were being assassinated, like Notorious B.I.G., Christopher Wallace, whom he was very close with.